Okay, all right. So yeah, we have 118 elements, okay, in the periodic table, okay, and 90 of these elements, okay, 90 are found in nature, okay, and then the rest 28, okay, they're either artificially made in the lab or they are found very, very, okay, like the last element is there's only 30 grams of that element on in the Earth's crust. And Earth's crust is huge, huge, right? It has so much of mass and
Yeah.
it's pretty small for that. So yeah, when we're talking about elements, we can also say that elements, okay, they're the primary constituents of matter. Okay? So we discussed the other day. What is matter? Do you remember what is matter, by the way? Yes.
Anything that occupies.
And discussed
Yeah.
about that. What's a small
One.
atom? Okay, all right. And so when we're talking about single atoms, all right. So
Yeah.
and then why do you think we study elements? Why is it that we study elements? So can you name some elements? Let's see if you remember some elements, important elements.
Carbon,
Okay, carbon.
oxygen, nitrogen,
Yeah.
sodium,
Okay.
fluorine.
Fluorine. Okay. Magnesium. Okay. Potassium. Okay. Very good. So elements, they have electrons, protons, and neutrons, subatomic particles, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so then what is a particle? Because this chapter is called the particulate nature of matter. So then what exactly is a particle? You think it's the same as an atom? Is it an element? Or it can be both? What can it be? What is it exactly? It says the particulate nature of matter as particles. Okay. In a short form, it means how does it exist as particles? What do you think?
Particles are atoms also.
Exactly. Okay. So the best way to imagine them is small balls. Okay. That's it. Okay. This is an atom and this is also a particle. Okay. So particles are
Yeah.
simply made up of atoms or they're made up of an atom or many atoms. Okay. They can be a molecule, can also be a particle. A compound can also be a particle. Okay. So we're going to look at all of these. But so when we're saying, can I erase all of this over here?
Oh yeah.
So when we're saying the particulate nature of matter, okay, we want to discuss about the atoms, okay, and matter, okay. We want to discuss about the atoms. So particles is simply another way to say atom or a group of atoms that want to be studied, okay.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit about like particles. You said it yourself, okay. So matter exists as particles. That's what the chapter says. It can be in the form of compounds, a group of atoms. Okay. So since I've given you the answer, what is the difference between a molecule and a compound?
A compound is two atoms together, and for example, water is a compound,
Exactly.
and molecule. I think molecule is just an element.
Okay. All right. So I have my oxygen atom over here, and then I have my hydrogen atom. Can I? Are these the same
Mm,
things? Yes. Yeah. Okay. So a compound is made up of two or more different types of atoms, right?
yeah.
A molecule is usually like an oxygen molecule. Okay. So say you have O and O, okay? It's two or more similar atoms. Okay. So and if you have different, two or more different atoms, they make a compound. Okay.
Yeah.
And then what a
A
mixture?
mixture is the same thing as a compound, but it cannot. No.
It can be separated. That's the important one to click. So a mixture made up of compounds and compounds. It can also be a mixture. Okay. Sometimes mixtures are made up of mixtures. Two different mixtures combined together can make also another mixture. Okay. So a very
Yeah.
simple example would be iron and sulfur. Right? So you have iron there and then you have over here. Right. Okay. So
Yeah.
that's a mix. That's a bit of a mixture. But then, if they can be separated, is there any way that this separation can be ended between them? Can we end this separation between them? No. Okay. So then the other question I have is, if the separation cannot be ended, these guys are they chemically bonded with each other at the
No,
moment?
they're not. I don't.
No. Okay. So the other thing is there's no chemical bonding between different compounds or atoms. Okay. There's no chemical bonding. So the next question is, you said that a mixture cannot be converted. Okay. But say if I start heating, okay, I'm gonna take a flask over here. Okay, I'm gonna take a glass flask, and in this glass flask, I'm gonna put okay, and then I have sulfur, and I start heating it up. What's going to happen when I start heating it up? Yeah.
The particles are going to move with more kinetic energy.
Okay, and so they're going to vibrate. And so when they're going to vibrate, what's going to happen? What's the next step? It's going to melt or it's going to combine with each other, right?
Yeah.
If the temperature gets too high, they start combining with each other because I'm giving excess energy, right? So there are going to be more and more vibrations happening, as you said, and those vibrations are going to make them chemically unstable. That's why those vibrations are happening, right? They need to have what do all elements have in common? They have one thing in common. They want to be stable. Okay, they want to be stable. So your iron from your glass and your sulfur will form iron sulfide. And so once they form iron sulfide, are they still a mixture?
No.
Victor, what do they become?
They're chemically combined, so they become a compound, I think.
Exactly. Yes, that's exactly the point I wanted to come to. Okay. So if okay, a mix, as you said, a mixture will remain a mixture as long as nobody tries to give it some energy or tries to do some addition of energy or something like that. Okay. But as soon as I give it energy, a mixture that was separate, okay, it starts to form. It starts to form about a mixture. And a mixture is that's why a lot of time it's confused with okay because sometimes a mixture it looks like oh you know what we have compounds with that with these two elements but that's because additional energy has been given and that's formed that mixture it's broken that mixture it's combined it can they be separated okay so once it becomes a compound it cannot be separated okay all right very very crucial piece of information all right. So let's write some notes on this, okay, regarding mixture because elements, okay, elements are they're just one atoms. Okay, we'll discuss about that a lot in the periodic table. We'll discuss about all of these different elements or so-called single atoms. Okay, we'll discuss about that. Compounds, we know some compounds. We know H2O, like you said. We know NaCl. Okay, but mixture is the most misunderstood concept from these two. Okay, all right. So let me know when you're done. I'll erase this and then we'll write some notes.
Yeah, I'm done.
So does this make sense, Pierre? Now, why a mixture? Sometimes is called a compound, but it's actually not a compound until it chemically combines with each other. Okay, with the different compounds or atoms or mixtures inside a mixture has are mixtures that can be separated from each other when a mixture receives heat or any form of excess energy it the compounds or the compounds or atoms inside the mixture chemically bond with each other this gives rise to a compound therefore if a mixture is given energy external energy and combines chemically it is no longer a mixture and becomes okay. You can take the example of iron nails, okay, powder, sulfur gas or powder, sulfur powder, some that forms. Okay, this is the all right. So with this, it's very clear, okay, that we can form compounds with mixtures. But if you're talking about a mixture, it can be it can be set, okay? And there's several methods to separate mixtures, which we'll also discuss. But before we actually discuss that, I want to also discuss about why. So do you know what are chemical and physical properties of mixture? What is a chemical property and what is a physical property?
So a chemical property, a physical property is, for example, when ice melts, I think.
Okay, like melting point, boiling point, density, electrical conductivity, okay, malleability, ductility, okay, these are all properties. So all of the other properties except the property of how a substance reacts in a chemical reaction. Okay, so every substance, okay, can I erase all this? Yes. So when a substance it reacts in a chemical reaction, okay, what's happening over there? It's changing, right? So not a mixture, okay, because we're talking about chemical. So when any substance has changes due to a chemical reaction, it is called a chemical, okay? Everything else is a physical property, okay? So let's take a very simple example. Let's take hydrogen, oxygen, forming water, okay? So hydrogen, when it reacts with oxygen, it forms water, right? Okay, so that would be a chemical property. Okay, but hydrogen itself, it is a gas. Okay, it's a non-metal. Okay, it has a very high melting point. Okay, so these would be properties that are physical, right?
Yeah.
Okay, right. But that's an important difference between a chemical and a physical property. And then also, if we know this, then can we also understand what is a homogeneous and a heterogeneous mixture? Okay, these properties will help us understand what is a homogeneous mixture, what is a heterogeneous mixture.
I think hetero is more than one and homo is one, but I forgot what it was.
What exactly is more than one?
More than one element, maybe?
No. So let's try to understand this. Okay. So do you like gold? Everybody loves gold, right? It's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So can I image all this first?
Yes.
Okay. So imagine, okay, we have this gold bar over here, and then we put in oxygen gas, okay? Oxygen gas, so it's a molecule of oxygen, okay, inside this chamber that we have. What is this thing of gold over here?
It's impure.
Is it a solid? Is it a liquid? Is it a gas? It's a solid. Okay. And oxygen.
Yes.
So this mixture has a solid and a gas. Okay. So the two ways of saying heterogeneous or homogeneous. Okay. The one differentiation is between the states of matter. Okay. So if I have two states of matters, I have a solid and I have a gas. Okay. So that would make it a heterogeneous, right? Sorry, heterogeneous mixture. But this more to this, okay, actually when you're talking about heterogeneous mixtures. Okay. Now imagine if we don't have, let's say we just have this as our final product. We have the product, okay, and this is our mixture. And if we look at each section individually, okay, if each section, or in chemistry, as we like to call it, phase, okay, each phase over here, okay, is equal to all the other phases, okay, they're different, then it's going to be called a heterogeneous mixture. Okay? So if I take different sections of this bar, this is the stainless steel. So one of them has carbon, the other one only iron, and this has iron, and carbon. So is this going to be a heterogeneous mixture or a homogeneous mixture? Heterogeneous. Okay. So your best example of heterogeneous mixture are alloys. Okay, because in alloys you put a really small amount of one metal, okay, very minute quantities, and then you have a lot, okay, or a very large percentage. But then I have a question for you. This is also another one. Just like we discussed that when we have a metal, when we have a mixture, and if it's heated, it becomes a solid. Okay, let's look at a cross section of an iron. Okay, let's look at a cross section of an alloy. So this is my cross section of mine. Doesn't this look like these or these two metals have been bonded together? And isn't it true that when you have to form an alloy, you would first, in fact, heat them, they become liquid, and then they will combine together to make a stronger alloy?
Yeah.
Yes. But then why is an
Yes.
alloy a mixture?
Well, because you can separate them.
How? Why? Why can you separate it? Why? Good, very good
Uh,
answer.
bec-
But why? The answer is
I think they slide, alloys slide together. Oh, they don't slide because it makes them stronger.
yeah, they don't slide together. Metal atoms, yes, they slide together. You're very close. You're very close, okay? You're very close. So usually what would happen? Do you want to try to give a guess? Then I'll think a little bit, and it's okay if it's the wrong answer. No wrong answer is wrong answer. It's just, it might not be there yet. But think about it. You have the answer there. You're almost very close. You're thinking about the structure. You can see one, let's say this one is the carbon atom, okay? And then these are all iron atoms. Say this is stainless steel. So why? How is it that I can convert stainless steel back to iron and carbon? And if it's a mixture, but they're still chemically bonded, right? Because the atom is inside the structure of iron. So then what's happening with it? Any guesses?
Maybe by melting it.
So yeah, you would melt it for sure. But the question is, why would this kind of a structure not suppress or not would be allowed to release the carbon and iron separately? Why? That's the question. By the way, do they still have the merit system in school or have they stopped it? This is how, okay, good. All right. Yeah, you would get 5 merits points from me if you answer that question. It is a very hard question, but okay. I'm gonna give that the answer, okay? Because it's really important and interesting. Because it's are a special kind of fiction, okay? The thing is, if you remember when you studied alloys, there's something like you have these spaces in between big metals, right? Say you have an iron atom, it has 26 electrons, right? So you have two iron atoms over here, okay? And then I'm gonna put one more over here, okay? So if you look over here very closely, where's the carbon?
In the
Of
middle.
course, sorry, it's going in over here, okay? This is your carbon,
Yeah.
right? How many electrons does carbon have? Just
6.
so its structure is actually very, very small, right, in comparison to iron. So what the carbon atom would do is it would sneak inside this space, interstitial space, okay? When you have solid, they're going to have some interstitial spaces, and this carbon atom is going to fit over here, and that's how you get stainless steel, okay? So when this is going to be melted back, okay, this carbon atom is going to be is going to escape off, okay, because it's only inside the gap. It's not exactly chemically bonded with these iron atoms, okay? And this is something that's called metallic bonding, okay? Metallic bonding. So this is a special
Yeah.
kind of a mixture, okay? Because it seems like it is not a mixture, but actually it's a mixture, okay? Because of metallic bonding, okay? Very important point. Write that down, please. Okay, take that down. Did you know about this? No, right? Did you know metallic bonding?
I've heard of it in IGCSE.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, right. Can I erase all of this? Yeah. All right. This would be a heterogeneous mixture. Whereas there's one example that you must have studied, which up and up. Have you heard of a solution?
Yes. In a solution, there's a solute and a solvent.
Yeah.
Usually the solvent is water and the solute is a solid, so it can be salt, for example. I think, I'm not sure.
Right. Okay. So you have your solute and you have your solvent. Okay. Say this is an NaCl solution, so chloride, and then it has water, okay, 100 milliliters of water, and it dissolves. Okay. So when you're dissolving, what's happening over here as atoms? If I look at it very microscope, what is happening between the atoms of water sodium? So let me draw the structure. Okay. So what's happening in this
Uh,
phase? Dissolving. So what exactly is dissolving?
it's when the particles are in contact with the liquid and they form a compound, I think,
Okay. If
because
it
they
forms a
cannot.
compound, how can there be a mixture?
Okay, so it can be separated, I think, through evaporation, maybe.
Yes, yes, exactly. Yes, very good. Okay. So actually, what's happening is, okay, you're not having a reaction between NaCl and water just like this because you need energy for that. Okay. This is very strong. It's an ionic compound. Okay. This is a covalent compound, but ionic compounds are they require very large amounts of energy to break this bond, right? Because they're super stable. Okay. So without energy, I'm not able to break this bond. Okay. Do I have just one compound, just one unit in NaCl?
Yeah.
No. Do I
No.
have just one of these? Or do I have millions and millions of these? Millions, right? In powder, in table salt, okay? So if I have table salt, I'm going to have millions and millions of these particles. Okay, I'm going to have NaCl, NaCl, NaCl. Okay. So when this water it comes in contact with all of these molecules of NaCl, it's not going to separate Na and Cl. It's only going to separate the compounds. It's only going to separate different NaCl molecules and it's going to space them out from each other. Okay. This thing is going to be evenly distributed. Okay. So when it says evenly distributed, if I come and I look at each section of this liquid, I take a sample, I take a pipette, okay, and I pipette it for 5 milliliters, okay. Let's not say five, let's say 10 milliliters, okay. If I take 10 milliliters, so if you look over here, I had 100 ml of water, I had 10 grams of NaCl. So in each 10 ml of water, I'm going to have 1 gram of sodium chloride, right? Make
Yeah.
sense? No? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that exactly is what a homogeneous mixture, right? Because each gram in each 10 and 1 gram of sodium chloride. Okay, that's the difference. Okay, that's the difference. Think about it. You take two pipettes. Okay, you take one pipette of 10 ml and then you take the other one of 10 ml as well. and then you put them on your microscopic slide, or say, for example, you just put this under a microscope. So you're going to find the same amount of salt in your first one, in your first bit, okay, as it's going to be in the second. Of course, there's going to be a little bit of discrepancies in terms of milligrams or micrograms, but if you look at the overall structure, it's going to be uniformly distributed. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's the important word. Okay, uniformly distributed in homogeneous. Okay, so that's a homogeneous mixture. So solutions are homogeneous mixtures. And that's why we have concentration, right? Okay? Because if you're talking about concentration, we're talking the we're talking about the concentration of this whole liquid, right?
Yeah.
So the concentration, for example, for this liquid is going to be 0.1 molar, right? Because how do you find concentration? It's the mass divided by the
Volume.
volume. Yeah, okay. So there you have some physical characteristic coming in. All right. So that's exactly what we mean. We're talking about 0.1 molar solution. Okay. And in that 0.1 molar solution, we have 10 grams of NaCl and 100 milliliters of water. Okay. So this is a little bit about what is the difference between a homogeneous and heterogeneous mixture. Okay. So then a bit of, let's do a few questions. Okay. Let's do one question with about 10 parts. It's just you have to identify if it's an element, if it's a compound or a mixture. Okay, just to get your understanding and see if you've made that difference quite clear. Let me know. Can I erase this?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Are you taking notes,
Yeah.
Pierre?
Yes.
Yes.
Everything.
So school finishes off at the moment, or 4:45 for you guys?
No. Yeah, every day at 4:45, so 5.
Okay, and then you come back home, so it's almost 6. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, would you and your brother prefer if this be a little bit later, or is
But this time is okay.
yeah?
Yes.
Alright, then let's look at this question. Okay, classify the following as element, compound, mixture. Okay, so the first one, ammonia. Do you know the formula of ammonia?
NH3.
Yeah, HCl, oxygen, and D, vanadium, air. Okay, let me know when you're done.
I'm done.
Yeah. Okay, so then
Yeah.
first one,
So water is a mixture.
compound. Yes, the compound. Okay, so
Ammonia or
ammonia. Sorry.
it's a compound.
Yes, HCl.
Compound.
Okay, this one, oxygen.
Element.
What?
Oh, sorry, mixture.
No.
Isn't it?
If it's O2, it's one
Yes.
F.
Vanadium is known. There is like oxygen, right?
No, has all. So what's the composition of it?
70% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and then the rest I forgot.
So you have 3% carbon dioxide, right? All about, yeah. And then you have some other gases. So what is this? This is nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide. So if these are all together in air, what does that make air? It's a mixture. Yeah. And if I have to ask, would this be a heterogeneous mixture or a homogeneous mixture?
Heterogeneous.
Why? Think about it.
Because they're
Okay. When you're breathing air, it always has the same composition, right? Okay. The last one.
and magnesium oxide is a compound.
Yes. Okay. But there's one thing, okay? If you had just magnesium ribbon, okay, and if you burn it in air, or if you had just oxygen around it, then what would this be? Without any energy, this would be a mixture. But now, if I give this heat, that's what will make magnesium oxide, and that's a compound.
Yes.
Make sense?
Yes.
All right. So compounds, mixtures, elements, heterogeneous, homogeneous mixtures. Okay. There's one more very interesting example of a heterogeneous mixture. So sand and water. What happens when you mix sand and water together?
They don't mix.
Yeah. So after a while, they separate their phases, right? Like you would have
Yeah.
sand at the bottom, right? And then you have water in the middle of it, right?
Yeah.
And this is also a
Yes.
heterogeneous mixture. Elements and compounds. There, you find the
Because they have no impurities.
yeah, it's just the way it is. It's not a mixture, it's a pure substance. Okay. A pure substance is either an element or compound. Okay, not a mixture. And it's called pure. And so that the mixtures would be, if these are pure, then mixtures would be
Impure.
impure. Yes. Okay. Just a little bit about different types. Oh, yeah, we have another question for identifying homogeneous and heterogeneous mixtures. You want to do it? Just 3 parts.
Sure.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, let's finish it. Let's finish off strong. How's your understanding with this? Like now, is it better than was it before?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, classify if heterogeneous or part A is CO2 gas, helium, solid copper oxide, sorry, and solid calcium carbonate, potassium hydroxide solution, mayonnaise. That's the final question for today. Think about it a little bit.
What's the last one? Sorry.
Mayonnaise. You like mayonnaise?
Yeah, okay.
Ketchup and mayonnaise. So it's mayonnaise.
Okay, and the last one. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, so the first one, what is CO2 and H? Homogeneous, yes. A mixture of gases is always homogeneous. Okay, copper oxide and
Heterogeneous.
yeah, heterogeneous. Okay. Potassium hydroxide solution.
I think homogeneous.
If it's a solution, it's going to be homogeneous. Yes, mixture of gases and solutions are always homogeneous. Okay. Mayonnaise. What did you think? What do you think it is?
Homogeneous.
Homogeneous, yes, because it's kind of like a very concentrated solution, right? Almost like a paste. Okay, so it will be homogeneous as well. Very good. Okay,
Yes.
fantastic. Okay, fantastic. Okay, that's it for today. The next class we'll discuss about separating mixtures and we look at also something related with chromatography. Okay, we'll look at that as well. Then you know kinetic molecular theory, but we'll just have a look at it really quickly. Okay.